Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to be showing you how to make a chocolate rainbow tie-dye surprise cake. Now let's get started. First, you are going to take a cake pop pan and spread a thin layer of softened butter onto each of the tiny molds. If you do not have a cake pop pan, then you can use a normal cake pan and cut any shapes you would like. After you have applied a very thin layer, we are going to add in a spoonful of flour to each of the molds. As you can see, we are adding a very tiny amount, but still enough to coat the tiny molds. Next, we are going to shake and tilt the pans until the flour has covered the entire area of the tiny molds. Make sure that all of the molds have been completely covered in the flour where the butter has been. Make sure to tap out the excess because you do not want there to be excessive flour to make a super thick layer. Next, we are going to prepare a ready cake mix, and we are using white cake mix so that the colors can be more pronounced later on. Prepare it according to the instructions. Next, we are going to dye the batter, and you can color however many colors you would like. We used 5 different colors, so we are going to be dividing it between 5 different bowls. Make sure to split the batter evenly in between all of the 5 bowls. The colors we went for were more of a vibrant pastel colors. We added 2 drops of food coloring to each of the bowls, but we added more if we were not happy with how vibrant the colors were. We used a water-based food coloring here rather than a gel because I found it is easier to mix than gel food colorings because they can have lots of streaks in it. Mix each of the bowls until all of them are completely evenly mixed and have a color that is decent and that you would like. As you can see here, we went for every color of the rainbow. Next, set these colors aside and bring back the cake pop pan from earlier. We are going to spoon each color into each of the molds. Put a tiny bit, and you want to fill the molds about 2/3 of the way. We filled them all the way, but we found that there were tops on the outside, as you will see later in the video. You can do solid colors as well if you would like, as those work out really nicely too. If you want to do planet cakes and other things in this manner, you can do that with this method. After we add in all of the colors, swirl with the toothpick. As you can see here, we were doing different patterns and trying to get different colors on the top and in the bottoms. It does not really matter as long as you swirl it because each of them will be unique and different. Next, you are going to put the top of the cake pan onto the top. Make sure this is buttered and floured as well. Make sure it is prepared to however your cake pan works, because we had to put clips so that it does not slide around in the oven. Bake according to instructions on the cake mix. As you can see, this is how they came out of the oven, and these are the tops I was talking about earlier. There's nothing wrong with these, and these are very delicious, and you can use them in the cake as well. Make sure to take these all off, and for us they just popped off. Use a knife if they do not come off completely. Also, you want to make sure that your cake is completely cooked and that it is not raw. Nothing will happen to it in the chocolate cake and it will not overcook. These are how the balls turned out, and make sure to transfer to a cooling rack. You can at this point also cut off the tops if they are a bit pointy. To show you what the inside is like, we decided to cut one open. They are all going to be different, of course, but this is an example of what they can look like. Next, we're going to move on to the chocolate cake. Just like the vanilla cake, prepare a chocolate cake mix according to the instructions on the box. We added in oil, water, eggs, and all of that stuff. Then, we have a bundt pan that has been buttered and floured just like the cake pan from earlier. First, we're going to spread a thin layer of chocolate cake batter on the bottom. Then we're going to place the fully cooked cake pop balls into the pan. We did about 5. Then scoop batter to cover the tops of them. Then smooth it out, and in the gaps, we put 5 more of the cake pops. Cover with more chocolate. Keep in mind that the balls do not have to be completely covered because the chocolate cake will rise over them. So make sure you do not put excessive amounts of batter on top. We're also going to demonstrate how we use the tops of the cake pop pans from the cake pops, and we are going to show you that. So we just did an alternate of the circle spheres, and some of the hat-like structures. Feel free to use however many you want, as in the other cake we did barely any and we stuffed this one. Cover with a thin layer of chocolate. And like before, the cake will rise over it, so you do not have to worry about it being very uneven. Next, we're going to make a completely optional chocolate ganache to show how we decorated. First, we're going to heat up some milk in the microwave and make sure it is very, very warm and hot. Then we're going to add semi-sweet chocolate chips and mix until it is very smooth and nice texture. We had to add more chocolate chips to achieve this really shiny, delicious dark chocolate ganache. Set aside, and let's move on to the cakes. This is how the cake turned out of the oven, and yes, you can still see some of the balls, but it did not affect how flat it was. I wanted to show you how we decorated the cakes. So on the first cake, we alternated with pink, teal, and yellow buttercreams, vanilla bean frosting, and then we did these stripes on the entire cake. Then, with this tool, we swirled it around in a way to make a tie-dye kind of effect. We weren't so happy how it looked, so we took a spatula and tried to blend out the sides a little bit more. And this is the first cake. For the second cake, this is when we used the chocolate ganache. We wanted to go for that store-bought chocolate cake. First, we are making chocolate ganache strips. If you do not know how to do drips, you just put a little bit of batter towards the top, and if they are not going down, you can direct it with the squeeze bottle. Then continue to add chocolate ganache on the top and towards the inside. Make sure that your cake or the ganache is not hot so that the icing and the buttercream and the ganache doesn't fall off, or melt off, I'm sorry. Next we did tiny swirls of vanilla bean buttercream. This is completely optional, but you can do it if you'd like. And finally, for the last touch, we put some mini chocolate chips around the ganache area and on some of the drips. And this is how the second cake turned out. These are super pretty and delicious, and they have a very amazing interior. The first cake, for example, had this really pretty interior. Each slice will be different, and that's what is unique about these cakes. This is how the second cake turned out. It had a really pretty, nice cake pop ball in it. Remember, you can do multiple themes, but this theme we did tie-dye. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment down below. We would love to see you next time. Bye!